Good afternoon, everyone. This is a video about the School of OpenCohesion program, ASOC, as a case of open government data ecosystem. So I will present you some results about if and how the ASOC program could successfully create an ecosystem of people and organizations that use the data from OpenCohesion to perform a sort of participatory evaluation of public policies and also participate in public policy to try to improve their effectiveness. All these results are from a paper that's called Creating Open Government Data Ecosystems, Network Relations Among Governments, User Communities, NGOs, and the Media, that was published with Professor Sharon Dawes in Government Information Quarterly earlier this year. So an open government ecosystem is basically a network of actors that dynamically interact to achieve a common goal, such as public participation, public accountability. This network is based on the availability of open government data from the government, so open information that could be used by anyone. The literature classifies these actors in a few types, and each type has one or more specific role. So on the left, you can see the governments, national government, regional governments, local governments, that can act as policymakers, but also an open government data providers, such as OpenCohesion. On the other side, we have the local communities, such as in the case of ASOC, the students or the teachers and their communities. Those are the ones that use the data from the government and use them to evaluate public policy and form a judgment that can be sent back to the administrations in order to try to influence policy making. We also have some intermediaries such as the media or the NGOs and CSOs. Those are important to interpret the data from the government, but also to help the local communities reach the policymakers and trying to influence their decisions. So we basically had two research questions. The first is what types of actors are more likely to develop connections with each other? And the second is, do actors' co-locations influence the probability of developing connections? We analyzed more than 35,000 tweets using the official ASOC hashtag from 2015 to 2020. All students were required to create a Twitter account and to use it to document all their activities and all the shared activities with other organizations and individuals. So we finally found more than 4,000 connections and more than 1,000 actors that were selected, coded, and classified by type of actors and location. We finally used an exponential random graph model to estimate the likelihood that two actors would develop a connection. So in this first graph, we can see the structure of this network. Each circle represents an actor, and the dimension of the circle is proportional to the number of connections they could generate. The color represents the type of actor. So you can see at the center, you can find some black circles that are the OpenCohesion stuff and ASOC stuff that are very important to keep all the other actors together in this national ecosystem. We also found a different type of actor, which is the government with a kind of new role, which is government as data intermediary. Those are the green circles that represent the European direct centers. Those are centers that are funded by the European Commission to inform the citizens about Euro policy, but they also have developed a strong collaboration with the ASOC community, so they are very important to connect users and communities to the center of the network. this is the same network, but in this case the circles are colored by location. So we can see the black circles in the center are the national level institutions, while you can see more at the periphery of this network clusters of actors that are located in the same Italian region. So we can say that there are some local ecosystems that are nested into the main national ecosystem structure. Finally, we estimated the likelihood of developing a connection between two types of actors in this ecosystem. And the thick arrows represent the most likely connection to form. So, for example, the governments as open data providers, so OpenCohesion, almost by default, could establish a very good connection with the students' local communities. But local communities had some trouble in reaching the policymakers. So in this case, as we already seen, the governments as intermediaries, so the European direct centers, played a very important role in connecting the students to the policymakers because they could develop quite strong relations with both. The students then could in part involve the media and the NGOs, the media, to give interviews or to be covered in local newspapers. And also the NGOs helped the students in their activities, but then neither the media or the NGOs could effectively help the student in reaching policymakers. So one suggestion could be to invest more in involving these types of actors, media and NGOs, in order to be more effective in influencing policy decisions. So this is all I had to say, and you can find discussion and conclusions and more results in the paper. Thank you for watching.